the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Lawyer Paul Admocheri, Etnasi. Na enye ensema eye ensem ketwa. Oye exclusive analysis about enema na ekoso and the various election ayaya Ghana starting from 1992 and the basa na umaye hu say sorry NDC no propaganda and no one dey win election. Fifi Kote, one of them, and in Toro Akesiet to His Excellency John Ajekun Kufoso, Emma, and Yon Gwanzo, or side the bizu to or Safum Afoso, or the bit to your friends say, your friends say, Nana Adudanko Kufuaru, only propaganda and no, or with me can transa and contemporary no correct about the say, and Nuna, your friends say, Lawyer Posse, I didn't hear about the code 2024, a reality, and obi a ye promising star and as obi a we din or ye that transformation good but really na you I friend say John Dramani Mahama or ye president pen but Dr. Alaji Mahmoud Bawumia onye president da into no dey a vision but o kan vice president dia o mu mi no be reality na Lawyer Paul e break it down na we say you I friend say John Dramani Mahama only chance bia the Ghana for yemi ni now and yes adia e deny evidence
because you is to observe the reality versus the potential. Okay, so what is reality? JDM is reality. Why is he reality? JDM is reality. JDM is followed by Madame Jane, whom we are talking about tonight. And potential is Dr. Bawumia, the vice president. Now, if the contest was for a contest about vice president, it will be reality versus reality, because John Dramani Mahama has been vice president to Professor Mills. Fortunately for him, he was a vice president who ended his 4-year term as president because of the unfortunate events of 24th February 2012. Dr. Bawumia has been vice president 24th July, the unfortunate incidents of 24th July 2012. Dr. Bawumia has been vice president from 17 to 20 and is continuing his second term as vice president. In fact, Dr. Bawumia has been a longer vice president than John Dramani Mahama. But in terms of 4-year vice president, they've all had it. So if the contest was for vice president, it will be reality versus reality. Once the contest for president, it is potential of Dr. Bawumia. What kind of a president could he be? Would he be good? Would he be bad? Would he be tall? Would he be short? Would he be blue? Would he be red? We don't know. It's potential. How do we assess it? Based on what he's saying in the campaign and based on what we know that he has done. John Dramani Mahama is reality. Reality can be president again. We saw it in Brazil. Lula, Brazil's famous president. He was president. He ended his tenure. I think it was prime minister. They have a political system that mimics the UK system. So he was a kind of prime minister, I believe so. And Lula led Brazil, left for many years, difficult situation, came back to Brazil because the Brazilian people were calling for Lula's time. Lula was one of their most famous presidents in the last, maybe since the Second World War. Lula has been one of the most famous presidents of Brazil. Not just famous, but also popular and really able presidents of Brazil. So Lula went back. In Singapore, it happened. 82-year-old prime minister was re-elected to the Singapore prime minister position. So yes, reality can come back all the time. But the reality comes back based on the reality. The reality comes back to campaign that you know me, you know what I've done, you want what I did, it's better than now, vote me back to power. Now, that's John Mahama's situation. His reality is complicated. So the NDC PR for this election needs to get Ghanaians to answer this question in the affirmative. The reality of John Mahama and the potential of Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia. That is why, because of the potential difficulties of this argument for the NDC, that is why I agree with them. If I were them, I'll do the same. And potential John Dramani Mahama and Muhammadu Bawumia. The NDC is pitching the election as the NDC political party and the NPP political party. And what's the NDC saying? We have 8 years, they have 8 years. In Ghana, we do 8-year cycle. Why does a party want to do? They don't say why does Bawumia, they say why does a party? The NPP people also, because of the economic difficulty that is facing them, they are also shooting it hard and saying that look at John Dramani Mahama, look at what he did, look at how we defeated him in 2016, and check out Dr. Bawumia, even as vice president, see the innovations he's done. In fact, MPP are saying that forget about presidency, take Vice President John Mahama, Vice President Bawumia, compare them. And if you do that comparison, many civil society people will vote for Dr. Bawumia. It may be that the President Mahama was unlucky, I don't know. But if you look at the reality, that's what some people will say. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Others will say something else. Opinions are like noses. We all have them. It's a democracy. We judge, we don't war. All right, let's continue with the analysis. So let me take you back a little bit, viewers. Let me take you back a little bit and show you in the critical elections that we have had, all of the critical elections that we have had, why it has been what it is in terms of the PR. All right, shall I clean this or not? This I should close it. Great. So we come to election 2000. What was the NDC's potential PR story? Here's Professor John Evans Atta Mills and Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. In election 2000, the NDC were looking for a third term, but it wasn't quite a third term they were looking for. What they were looking for looked like a fifth or sixth term, because J.J. Rawlings had been in power since 1981. Up to 1991, that's 10 years, isn't it? Then he had begun a constitutional arrangement from 1992 up to 2000. That's 8 years, isn't it? So it was 10 plus 8 that the NDC were battling. They were not battling a third term. They were battling an 18-year streak of political power. And Ghanaians had been exposed by then. The level of exposure of Ghanaians in 1992 was much better than in 1982. Take even media, simple. 1982 was black and white television. 1992 was color television. In that regard, the exposure of Ghanaians had doubled, tripled, even quadrupled between 1981 and by 1992. They were getting frustrated with the governance system that was led by one man, J.J. Rawlings, his wife, Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings, P.V. Obey, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, Eboteria, and all of these socialist people who had led the country through the revolution. They had done their bit, they had done well, but people were tired. The PR that Professor Mills needed to overcome in 2000 elections, you can say with the benefit of hindsight, I will accept it. The PR that he needed to overcome was to show and demonstrate that he, J.E.A. Mills, was taking Ghanaians along a different trajectory from what J.J. Rawlings had done. Professor Mills completely overturned this event, stood it on his head, when in Ho, where I was as a reporter, he announced to the whole world, J.J. Rawlings was there. In fact, I have a photograph with Rawlings on that day. That was my first interview with Rawlings. And I have to say thank you to Kofito Tobi Kwache, Samata Mensah, and Komla Dumo, who all together arranged that interview. It was a beautiful occasion for me. And I have a photograph of it. Maybe Tuesday I'll bring it to the star. I guess I've showed it to you before. J.J. Rawlings was headlining that event as president of Ghana and leader of the NDC. It was the rally to show Professor Mills as the new presidential candidate. What did Mills say? Mills took the microphone and said something that turned out to be completely disastrous for the NDC campaign. He said to JJ, and I'm not even paraphrasing, I'm quoting. He said, Mr. President, you are not going anywhere. I am going to consult you morning, noon, and night. And that was it. Every Ghanaian turned away from Professor Mills because this is what they didn't want anymore. Not that they didn't like Rawlings, but they were tired of him. Because
think the months preceding the presidential elections, you particularly made Nana Akufo-Addo your ministry. Now, there was no moment that if you didn't attack the very person of Akufo-Addo, you will not be complete as a person. And I'm referring to this NDC forum for setting the record straight. And let me capture something that you said, which I found very interesting. Yeah, Fifi, you said...
Honorable member for Bokwasab, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Fifi, you said, those who are unable to tell the truth about their past cannot be trusted to tell the truth about their present and their future. And they went on when you said, between Atta Mills' NDC and Akufo-Addo's NPP, the choice cannot be any easier for Pastor Otabil and co. Whereas NDC Atta Mills is a genuine man of peace, NPP's Akufo-Addo has blood and violence dogging his political trail. NDC's vice chairman in the Abuakwa Central constituency, Abu Mohammed, remains a cripple today because of the brutality meted out to him by Akufo-Addo's thugs. again, in the year 2004, Akufo-Addo's thugs on the night of the election set ablaze NDC's office in Chebi, Aboku-Assad, where I'm the MP, and destroyed everything in that office. Akufo-Addo's naturally violent propensity obviously has made his party even more violent since he became the leader of the MPP. Now, Fifi, I suggest to you, with all due deference to you, I'm not here to embarrass you, that do you know that this statement against Akufo-Addo is one of the lies that you were selling out? Indeed, Abu Mohammed is never a cripple. And as we talk right now, he's the chairman of the TAFU GTRPU. GTRPU. And also in my constituency, Chebi, where I come from, there has never been any NDC office which was burnt down by thugs of Akufo-Addo. And I want to put it to you straight away that this is the kind of disservice you are doing this country. You are not setting any record straight. And if you want the chairman and the rest of the committee to call Abu Mohammed, he will walk right here. He's not a cripple. And there was no occasion that he was beaten up to the point that he became a cripple. Would you want to recant this and apologize, or you want to stand by these falsehoods?
If he stands by, we'll call out.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to state emphatically that the Forum for Setting the Record Straight did in all 12 major press conferences. 12 major press conferences. And we tackle issues across the political divide, from healthcare through education to the economy to MPP's claims about human rights.
Address this cripple issue. You see, I don't want you to. I've asked very specific questions, and if you can address the issue of the cripple that you spoke about, and also the burning of the NDC office in Chebi, where I come from. Address just these two. I don't want to go. We don't even have the time. They are even telling me to stop. So please, I crave your indulgence. Was there any occasion that Abu Mohammed became a cripple as a result of political assault by thugs of MPP? And was there any occasion that the NDC office was burnt down? That's all.
I believe that my people were not lying. The same way we got several other information and be able to put it out, and none of them has been controverted. We believe that that story was also true. But if it happens that they were inaccurate on that score, I'm honorable enough to apologize for it. I don't know that for a fact. I trust their word. It is your word against their word. And as far as I'm concerned for now, I trust their word. If it happens that the truth comes out and maybe they haven't got it accurately, it's not a problem at all. We would apologize.
Do you know?
Okay, so what was 2016 story for the NDC? 2016 story for the NDC was to demonstrate that having been given 4 years, John Mahama was able to take the mantle to the next level. John Mahama had been given 4 years and he was able to take the mantle to the next level. That was a very, very difficult PR campaign to run, except if John Mahama had done some significant changes. The relationship between the office of the president and the office of the vice president is reported to have been completely broken down. It came to a head when a billboard popped up during the 2016 campaign that had he ended with. That's the analysis I made the other time. In 2016 elections was that it was okay. When I saw this video, this was about 2 days to the election, 2 days to voting. I saw this video on Joy FM studio, and I looked at Dr. Bani Boama, excited in the studio, believing that John Dramani Mahama was good. Let me tell you a personal story. I can't mention his name. The last day of a campaign, I called him, NDC guy, top NDC guy. I won't mention his name. And I said, I was going to mention his first name because that's how I called him on the phone. People know he's my friend, so they would have known. So let me call him Ojam. I said, Ojam, this was about 7 p.m. in the evening, campaign. Going to Kumasi. I think he was going to Kumasi as well because I was going to cover I always like to cover elections in my hometown, Kwamo and all that. All right. So I called him and I said, Ojam, what is going on? He said, Charlie, your man is doing the right thing. We are wrong. I said, what do you mean? He said, have you seen the crowd at Accra Sports Stadium? I said, it's amazing. John Mahama is there. He said, but watch it. If Rawlings doesn't attend the rally, we are finished. I said, why is that important? He said, Charlie, if Rawlings doesn't attend and what they are doing is wrong. Everybody is complaining against us. We've just finished solving doom. So, and they are putting up a mammoth rally at Accra Sports Stadium. What's your man Akufo-Addo is the right thing? What was Akufo-Addo doing? He was doing whistle stops in Accra. He was in Labadi, shook hands to Labadi chief, went to Teshi, went to Nunga, went to Dodio, he went to Machabona to meet some few people. He was going around. He went to Nima, he went to Adabraka, he went to Aboblushi. That's what Akufo-Addo was doing, whistle stops. I kept calling Abu Jinapo, Charlie, where are you? He says, hey, Aboblushi. I call him 1 hour time. I say, oh, Charlie, we've come back. They were moving around. John Mahama had a massive rally at the stadium. Not that it's wrong or is right. I don't know. I'm just telling you my experience with the NDC person I spoke to who felt in himself that day that the election was lost. And he's a top NDC person. So the PR for 2016 was particularly difficult. Only few people didn't see it. When I saw the video of Omane Boama in the Joy FM studios dancing to Shatawale's music, I knew that there was a problem. Remember this video. To show that Akufo-Addo's government had failed Ghanaians, that Akufo-Addo's government had not been able to attain the promises that they made. Akufo-Addo himself put the election context in a simple manner, and I believe that Ghanaians saw through his honesty. He said that I have nothing to tell you. I've been president for 4 years. John Mahama had been president for 4 years. Compare John Mahama, compare my 4 years, make a decision. That was Akufo-Addo's campaign, nothing more, nothing less. He didn't promise anything. He said, listen, Ghana people, I'm here again, running for a second term. I have been your president for 4 years. My opponent, John Mahama, has been president for 4 years too. He was president 4 years before I came. You know his record, you know my record. Make a decision. 500,000 more Ghanaians felt that Akufo-Addo should be president again. But the parliament was split among Ghanaians for whatever reason. But 500,000 Ghanaians felt that Akufo-Addo should be president again. That was the situation. Okay. What is the situation in 2024? I don't know whether I have 2024. They'll put it up. We'll finish very soon. What's the situation in 2024? In 2024, the NDC must show that the 8 years of Bawumia's running mate has been, Bawumia's vice presidency has been a disaster, or the 8 years of Akufo-Addo has been I don't know, maybe because that's election 2020. They don't talk about the first 4 years, talk about the second 4 years in which we still are. And I don't want to say all the reasons, but this is what the NDC focuses on, the second 4 years. And they try to make Ghanaians, and that's what they should be doing. Tell Ghanaians that this has been a disaster, elect John Mahama. What they need to overcome is the John Mahama's reality. Now I'm coming to the story and I'm wrapping up. What they need to overcome is John Mahama's reality. How are they going to sell John Mahama's reality to the Ghanaian people? If the Ghanaian people buy into John Mahama's reality, fair enough. If the Ghanaian people don't buy into John Mahama's reality, John Mahama will be defeated. Because Ghanaian people don't know what Dr. Bawumia is bringing. He can campaign, the NDC can say, and all of that, but that's all potential. NDC propaganda and PR must sell that John Mahama's reality is better. If they keep focusing on poking the government without discussing John Mahama's reality, that may be a problem. And that's why tonight, I love what Asiedu Nketia said. I'm going to deal with Asiedu Nketia. If I don't have time tonight, I'll deal with it on Tuesday. Just Asiedu Nketia, just what he said. I'll come back to it. Maybe I should, so that the story need to deal with. So now, in dealing with the reality, they will have to take their mind back. And that's what Jane Naana Opoku had yesterday. That's when she was speaking. I don't know whether she remembered this driver's mate, running mate thing, where it came from. Because they're all talking about Dr. Bawumia, but there is a John Mahama reality. Have a look at how we captured it and listen to how we are reminding you viewers that this is what John Mahama said. So in speaking about I am a mate and in speaking or in criticizing the concept of a vice president being a mate, was Jane Naana Opoku criticizing John Dramani Mahama, or was he criticizing Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia? This is the reality the NDC PR has to deal with, because social media doesn't forget. When Jane Naana Opoku was talking about the mate thing, was she concerned about, was he criticizing John Mahama, or she was criticizing Alhaji Bawumia? This is it. Have a look.
Ghanaians would vote for me and turn me from the spare driver that I've been described as into the actual driver of the bus, leading us to the destination that we want.
At the time of reckoning, Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I will not